Hello everybody and welcome to Puppetized Children's Church. Chitter! Chitter, 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 chitter. Wow, you guys look happy today. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter says it's a special day. Porky, do you know why it's special today?
Pork.
Yeah.
Pork.
Yeah?
It's Mother's Day.
Oh, it's Mother's Day. Porky, what do you like about your mother?
Pork. She always makes food for him.
She makes food for him? She make good food?
Pork.
Yeah, I bet she does. How about you, Garrett? What do you like about your mom?
Gong. Guy says that his mom taught him not to take things that other people have already taken.
Oh, ferrets like to run off with things. And I know that Garrett is just a and Garrett's a ferret, so ferrets like to take things, so I guess his mom is teaching him not to do that. Yeah, because then people get mad at you, huh, Garrett? Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter says that his mom cooks for him too. Chitter, chitter, chitter. And is teaching him to be good. Chitter, chitter, which he doesn't always like. But chitter, 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 chitter. He also says his mom plays with him. Yeah, what does she do with you? Chitter, 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 chitter. Oh, card games and board games. Yeah, she likes to do that. And do you guys have grandmas and aunts and other people like that help you out too? Because we can celebrate those people on Mother's Day also. Yeah, we can. All right, well, unfortunately, there are no mothers in our story today, in our story about Jesus. Although sometimes his mom is in the stories. Our story is about something completely different. Porky, can you tell us what our memory verse is today?
Pork. And Porky says that even the wind and the waves obey him. Matthew 8:27.
Even the wind and the waves obey him. Garrett, who do you think that's talking about? Who do the winds and waves obey?
Gong. Garrett's really happy because it's Jesus and he gets to play Jesus.
That's right. Garrett has been getting to play Jesus. Yeah, he seems to like that a lot. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, that's a fun role to play. Yes, even the wind and the waves obey Jesus. Do the wind and the waves obey you, Chitter? Chitter, 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 chitter. No, they don't obey me either, but Jesus was in charge of them. Well, this is a short memory verse, but I still wrote a song for it because it goes pretty well with row, row, row your boat. Even the wind and the waves obey him. Do not fear, Jesus is in charge. Even the wind and the waves obey him. Do not fear, Jesus is in charge. Yeah, that worked. Do you have a song for us today too, Anna? Oh, does Garrett have a song for us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Garrett, what song do we need to sing today?
Garrett wants to sing the fruits of the Spirit.
The fruits of the Spirit. Oh, Garrett, what fruit do you want to do for the first verse?
Gong. Minecraft golden apple.
Minecraft golden apple. Can we just do apple because that'll be easier to sing? Is that okay if we do apple?
Gong.
Okay.
Alright, Garrett.
Yeah, I think Garrett needs to do this song over there while Anna does it over here. The fruit of the Spirit's not an apple. The fruit of the Spirit's not an apple. If you want to be an apple, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit because the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Hey! Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Chitter, chitter, chitter! Oh, Chitter wants to choose the next fruit. Chitter, chitter, chitter! Chitter wants nuts. Chitter? Nuts aren't fruit. Chitter, 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 chitter! They're not. Could you actually choose a fruit this time? Chitter, chitter. Chitter, chitter! How about watermelon? It's watermelon good. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. The fruit of the Spirit's not a watermelon. If you want to be a watermelon, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit because the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Hey! Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Your turn, Porky. What do you want?
Pork? Orange?
Orange. Oh, is that good? Can we do orange? Okay. The fruit of the Spirit's not an orange. The fruit of the Spirit's not an orange. If you want to be an orange, you might as well hear it. You can't be a fruit of the Spirit, 'cause the fruit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Hey! Love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Okay, we have done lots of stories of Jesus healing people, and now we're going to change to Jesus doing miracles. Chitter, chitter! Yeah, miracles are things that Jesus or God can do that we can't do, like making winds and waves do things. Chitter, chitter! Mm-hmm. Chitter, 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 chitter! Yeah, healings are miracles too, but the miracles we're going to do now are going to be different kinds of miracles now that we've done lots of healings. Because Jesus healed lots of people, but he did lots of other amazing things too. Now, in the Bible, there are 4 books that tell stories about Jesus: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. And sometimes they tell the same stories and sometimes different stories, and they kind of have different purposes. We think Mark was written first, and that Mark was young and he was a follower of Jesus, and we think he knew Peter. So Mark talked to Peter to learn stories about Jesus, and then he wrote them down because he wanted all these people who were learning about Jesus to have it written down, these stories, so they could learn about him better. Well, sometime later on, Matthew and Luke, they had the stories Mark had written down, and they decided to write their own stories. Matthew was one of Jesus' disciples, and he was a Jew, and he wanted to write stories for Jews. So he wrote some of Mark's stories and added in some other stories for the Jews so that they would know about Jesus too. Luke, he was not a Jew. He was a Gentile, which means not a Jew. And his friends were too, and he wanted them to know about Jesus. So he wrote down a bunch of Mark's stories and some other stories that he learned by talking to Jesus' disciples, only he wrote them down for people who weren't Jews. Quite a bit later, John, the disciple John, he wrote down more stories of Jesus, and he wrote down lots of Jesus' teachings, things that Jesus said that John could remember and had really liked. So today's story is in Matthew, Mark, and Luke, and since it's short, we're going to read it from all 3, and Chitter's going to help me find all the differences in the stories, because if I told a story and Isaac and Anna each told the story and it was the same story, we would still use a little bit different words and mention a few different things, and that's what happens in this story. So first from Matthew. Jesus got into a boat. There he is, in the boat. His disciples followed him. Suddenly, a terrible storm came up on the lake. The waves crashed over the boats, but Jesus was sleeping. The disciples went and woke him up, and they said, "Pork, pork, 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 pork. Lord, save us, we're going to drown." He replied,
Gong, 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 gong.
"Your faith is so small. Why are you so afraid?" Then Jesus got up and he ordered the wind and the waves to stop, and it became completely calm. The disciples were amazed, and they asked,
Pork, 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 pork.
"What kind of man is this? Even the winds and the waves obey him." There's our memory verse, even the wind and the waves obey him. Well, that's the way Matthew wrote the story down. Let's see if Mark wrote it down any different. So Mark says, when evening came, chitter, 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 chitter. Oh, Chitter noticed right away, this one says it's evening. Is that why you were sleepy, Jesus, maybe? You know, I think Jesus had been teaching all day long. He was tired. When evening came, Jesus said to his disciples,
Gong, 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 gong.
"Let's go over to the other side of the lake." Chitter! Yeah, he didn't speak in Matthew, but he said, "Let's go to the other side" in this one. They left the crowd behind. Oh, yep, there's the crowd he was teaching. And they took him along in a boat, just as he was. There were also other boats with him. Chitter! Yeah, there were other boats. Matthew didn't mention that. A wild storm came up. Waves crashed over the boat, and it was about to sink. Chitter, chitter, chitter! Yeah, it was about to sink. It says that in Mark. Jesus was in the back sleeping on a cushion. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, they found him a cushion. That'd make it easier to sleep. The disciples woke him up and said,
Pork, 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 pork.
Teacher, don't you care if we drown? He got up and ordered the wind to stop, and he said to the waves,
Gong, 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 gong.
Quiet, be still. Then the wind died down, and it was completely calm. He said to his disciples,
Gong, 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 gong.
Why are you so afraid? Don't you have any faith at all yet? They'd been with Jesus a while. They knew some of what he could do. They were terrified. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, Matthew says they were amazed. Maybe some of them were amazed and some of them were terrified. There were 12 of them in there. They asked each other,
Pork, 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 pork.
Who is this? Even the wind and the waves obey him. There's our memory verse again. So that was Mark. You guys ready for Luke? Let's see what Luke has to say. Luke says, one day Jesus said to his disciples,
Gong, 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 gong.
Let's go over to the other side of the lake. So they got into a boat and left. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, it doesn't say what he had been doing, and it doesn't say that it was evening. Same story though, huh? As they sailed, Jesus fell asleep. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, it says first that he was asleep. That makes more sense, that he probably fell asleep before the storm came. A storm came down on the lake, and it was so bad the boat was about to sink. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, it mentioned the sinking. They were in great danger. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, that's me. The disciples went and woke Jesus up, and they said,
Pork, 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 pork.
Master, Master, we're going to drown. He got up and ordered the wind and the huge waves to stop. The storm quieted down, and it was completely calm. Chitter, chitter. Yeah, I think all three of them said it was completely calm. He asked his disciples,
Gong, 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 gong.
Where is your faith? They were amazed and full of fear. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, it says both of them. Matthew said they were amazed. Mark said they were terrified. That means scared. And Luke said they were amazed and scared. They asked one another,
Pork, pork, porky, pork, pork, pork.
Who is this? He commands even the winds and the waves, and they obey him. And there's our memory verse again. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, so the three stories are almost the same, but they gave us some different details, which make the story more interesting when you use all three of them. Chitter, chitter, chitter. You know what? What I noticed is that each of the stories they call Jesus something different. One of them they say master, which he was. Another one they call him teacher. So I'll bet some of the disciples were yelling one thing and some were yelling the other thing. Because I'll bet they weren't all yelling the same things at the same time. And then the other one they called him Lord. In any case, they were all yelling. And the storm was really big. And Jesus just made it stop. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter thinks it's pretty amazing that Jesus made that storm stop. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter wants to know, if Jesus can do amazing things like that, chitter, 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 why did he need to take a nap? Were you wondering that too, Garrett? Yeah, if Jesus can do all these things, why would he need a nap? You know what? Chitter, 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 chitter. Yes, this is a good question to ask Mr. Kevin.
What is it? What is it? Monster! Oh, hi, Chitter.
Chitter, 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 chitter. Is it okay that he woke you up?
Yeah, that's great. I wasn't even asleep. I was busy thinking hard on the book of Luke.
Chitter?
Yeah.
Chitter, chitter, chitter.
Yep.
Chitter has a question for you, and it's partly from the book of Luke.
Oh, okay. Oh, and he brought kids with him. Hi, kids. Good to see everybody.
Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter says we did this story of Jesus calming the wind and the waves. Chitter, 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 chitter. And Chitter thinks it's amazing Jesus could do that.
It was so amazing, yes! Jesus was very powerful. He could calm the wind and the waves just by telling them to stop and be calm. It was great. That was a great question, Chitter.
Chitter, 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 chitter.
Oh.
That wasn't his question.
Oh.
He was just getting it.
Oh, sorry.
Chitter, 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 chitter. So if Jesus could do that amazing thing, chitter, 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 why did he need to take a nap?
Oh, that's your question.
Chitter, chitter.
Oh, yeah, that's a great question, Chitter. Well, Jesus was very powerful because God gave him power, and he was amazing in the things he could do. But he was still just a person too. He's the Son of God, but he's also a human being like us. And we get tired sometimes, and Jesus got tired too, and so he took a nap. He was probably pretty tired from all the work he was doing, teaching people and helping people and going places. It made him tired sometimes. And Jesus also did other things that we do. He got hungry sometimes, and sometimes he was very happy, and sometimes he was sad, and sometimes he hurt, and sometimes he was angry, and yeah, all the things just like us. And just like we get sleepy sometimes, hold on. Sometimes we get sleepy, and sometimes Jesus got sleepy too. He probably even yawned.
Chitter?
Yeah, probably. Do you ever yawn, Chitter?
Chitter.
Me too. So how's that, Chitter? Does that answer your question?
Chitter, chitter, chitter.
Oh, good.
Chitter.
Hey, when you see all the kids, tell them hi for me.
Chitter.
Alright, so here's this week's craft. It's obviously a paper bag. Pause this video. Your mom cannot see what is inside this great paper bag. And then I'll continue someday, eventually. Bye-bye.
I have to leave too?
Yes, you do. You're a mom.
Okay, I'll leave too.
Okay, now that there are no moms in the craft zone, this is our Mother's Day craft. Or, you know, maybe that's it. So you can make a handprint flower bouquet, or you can just make a handprint flower. So you start by getting some colored paper if you have any, or you can just use white paper. And you trace your hand and cut it out. You can write to your mom from you, or Happy Mother's Day on them. And for the stems, you just tape it to the back of the flowers, and it can be a pipe cleaner, or it could be a straw. And then you can make little leaves out of paper, green paper if you have it. And if you want to make a normal flower, that's all you have to do. And if you want to make a flower bouquet, you can use paper, or I use foam stuff that comes from packaging to make a little bouquet thingy. And you just stick the flowers in, the stems, and you can decorate it. Like, I put little pipe cleaners on, and this is paper with pipe cleaner, and I just stuck it through. So, be creative, and this is this week's craft. Mother's Day craft.